Today is February 20th, 2025. My name is Jo Reingold, and I'm here interviewing Robert Feldman. Hello, Robert. Thank you
Hi.
for coming.
Sure.
So we're going to talk a bit about the old Columbian Club. Do you remember when you actually joined? Well, actually, back up. You said some of your family members were already members.
Yeah, well, my earliest memory of the Columbian Club was before they moved to Carrollton. And I may have been four. Well, they moved in 1956, I believe. And I remember images of the old club a little bit. I think they had some tennis courts. But the only thing I remember vividly is that we went there for 4th of July fireworks, and it scared me. And I was in the car, and I didn't like that. So that was that. And then, you know, the next thing I knew, they were building a club, and I've seen pictures of my uncle David Barron on the property where they're looking to how this is going to be shaped up. So that was the earliest memory. And then so we moved out there. They moved out there in '56, and I was probably 9 years old, so I don't remember going out there other than eventually I got golf clubs, I think, when I was 13. My parents got me golf clubs, and I went out there and started taking lessons.
Did you go there swimming at all during the summer, or spend any time there?
Yeah, but that memory is much stronger going with my wife and our kids when they were young, and that was her heaven, because Cynthia could sit there and relax, and the kids were in the pool or they were in the playroom or eating snacks, and they were supervised. There was a lifeguard, and she really liked that. And then we'd have lunch out there. So that was great. But I don't remember. I'm sure I was in the pool. I can remember the locker room, so I know I was in the pool, but I don't remember that well. And they redid it probably more than once.
Right. Why do you think your parents joined in the first place?
We didn't discuss that specifically. I think my uncle, my mom's brother, Irv Barron, who ultimately was one of the presidents of the club, joined in the 30s. I remember he told me he joined, and he was single, because he and Jan didn't get married until 1954. He was in his 40s. So I don't know for sure, but as they started to have kids, it would be nice to have a place to go. And anti-Semitism was such that Jews weren't allowed in any other country clubs. So, of course, it had been around for a long time as a social club, but to actually move from, I think I don't know if they were in East Dallas or Grand Prairie. I can't remember where I had that first memory, but I know they moved out into Carrollton, and that was great. So I don't know for sure why they joined, but it was a good move. And my mom we had great things out there. Not often, because she didn't do this often, but I know they had a party out there, and other couples or families would have elaborate, amazing parties that I would hear about, where it looked like a winter wonderland. I just would hear stories about that. And then when my wife and I got engaged, she had a function out there, which was great.
You said you were still single after college, right?
Right.
So what were those few years like?
Well, I was still kind of on their membership. So I got out of college in 1969. So in 1972, I joined as a member. And it was $20 a month and a $600 initiation because they were trying to encourage families next generation to join. So the initiation wasn't too bad. And so it was great, because I was a tennis player and a golfer, so I loved all that.
Right. Those are wonderful reasons to join there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did you find the location was at all problematic?
Excuse me.
Some people did. That's why I was wondering if you did.
No. I remember in high school, one of my good buddies, Henry Gottlich, and I went down. We got out of high school in 65. So in 64, 63, Preston Road went to Forest Lane. And then you're just going out in the country, and you'd 55 miles an hour, and you'd go Preston to Beltline and over to the club. So it was 8 miles. I didn't consider it a problem at all. But yeah, that was terrific.
So can you think of one or two specific fond memories that you have that stand out above any others?
There are
Are there
quite a
loads of them?
few.
Okay.
I mean, so I don't know when it started, but they had something called Gourmet Night. And I don't even know how to describe it. I think I definitely went before I got married, because I remember inviting people out, and I had my friends from law school, and sometimes I think once I took my law partners out there, and it's just spectacular. Harold Osborne ran the place. I mean, and the food was incredible. They had great steak or fish or chicken, and all kinds of side dishes, and then the desserts. There's a huge table of all the desserts. And so one vivid memory, and this happened more than once, was going out there with friends, and we ate so much and laughed so hard that driving home we were just miserable but happy. It was just like, oh my gosh. And my friends remember that. I mean, when they stopped Gourmet Night, that was really sad, because everybody enjoyed that. It was just spectacular.
How long did it last, and how often was it?
Oh gosh, Gourmet Night. I don't know if it was once a month or it wasn't. I don't think it was a weekly thing. It was special. And I remember it before I got married. I got married in '82, so it was going on probably well before that. And then we did it all the way after I was married. I'm sure, at least till in the '90s, I would think, maybe more. But that was a terrific, happy memory. But there were many happy memories. We would go out there when our kids were little with my mom, and they would have a Sunday brunch or a Sunday evening or early dinner, and our kids would run into the playroom, and they had all the games and video things. This is back in the probably late '80s, early '90s. We would order, and the kids would order, and then they'd go play in there, and we could just visit, and then have a great meal and go home fairly early. And that was a lot of fun. I mean, it was the best.
Did you make lasting friendships from people there, do you think?
That's a good question. I don't think that meeting people there, these were people who were members, so I knew them, and we were there together. So I didn't live out there. I mean, I didn't go there all the time. It was just a special treat. And if I was going to play golf, I would have somebody that I was going to go play with.
Okay, wonderful. So why do you think, what was the demise of the country club?
Well, for me, the main thing is the ban on, or whatever, the unofficial ban on Jewish people being able to join other clubs changed. And so there were newer clubs, people started joining other clubs, so that took a huge draw, I think, on the membership. And then I don't know beyond that. I mean, the people, I know some of the people who were presidents near the end, and they were some of still the sharpest people we have here, whether it was Neil Goldberg, or I'm trying to think of some other presidents near the end. I think Jo Reingold, and they were great, but they were just, the economics of it were such that people just didn't, they had other options. And there was the other thing that changed is the Columbian Club was a place for great food. And when I grew up, there was the Sapango Club, which was a private club, and then there was Old Warsaw, which may still be here. But there just weren't restaurants. When I went off to college, you didn't go out to eat much. There was no McDonald's, there was none of that. And that just exploded. And then there's so many other places to eat that that made it very tough. I mean, just the world changed, as it always does. So I think those two things, yeah, I really think that the leadership was great. And that was I mean, they loved the club, but it was a sacrifice. That was a lot of work to be president of that club.
Right. And to be anywhere on their leadership committees or anything else.
Yeah.
So one thing that we were going to ask was, do you think, in your wildest dreams, if somebody wanted to open a Columbian Club again, would it be successful in this day and age?
I think that would be great. I mean, that would be exciting. I don't know whether I would join or not, depending on my circumstance. I'm 78. But I think that's unlikely unless you could get a core of people who are already signed off and wanted to do it. I think that's very tough, just because of so many options and so many Jewish people have joined other clubs. I mean, I get invited. I'm still a member at that location. I was a member when it became the Honors. I'm a member now that it's Marydale. I'm not going anywhere else. I don't want to join another club. I'll either be a member out there. We still take our kids out on Sunday nights or some other time. Our grandkids and we have one son and his wife and their two kids who live in this area, and we go there with them, and it's great. I mean, it's not crowded. That's maybe a good thing, so they can run around. But I don't want to start over. Yeah. So I mean, it's either there or nothing. Have you heard about the Columbian Club that opened as a cocktail bar and restaurant? I have. What do you think about that? I think it's terrific, but I'm not a. We go out, but that's sort of off the beaten. I like the club for all that it was, and people. And that's the great thing about the Columbian Club. People join for different reasons, or all the reasons. You know, some people love to take advantage of all of it. But all the I'm not a drinker. I don't not drink, but that's not something let's go drinking tonight. So that's just not part of it. That wasn't a big